Shortly after a jury Friday acquitted 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse on all 5 criminal charges, including 2 accusations of murder stemming from his August 25, 2020 use of a semi-auto rifle to defend himself in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Fox News' Tucker Carlson released what appeared to be the young man's first recorded statements, and they hold serious import for Americans who believe in natural rights and individual liberty. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV, and here's the story. Notes Amanda Prestigiacomo for The Daily Wire, quote, "Self-defense is not illegal," 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse asserted Friday after he was acquitted on all charges against him related to a deadly riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. The teenager, appearing in a teaser clip for a December documentary from Fox News' Tucker Carlson, can be seen in the back of a vehicle speaking to a cameraman following the reading of his not guilty verdict. End quote. The video preview came in a tweet from Tucker a few hours after the verdict, and it features a compilation of clips that focus on Rittenhouse discussing his nightmares following August 25, 2020, culminating in footage recorded after he left the courthouse as he sits in a vehicle, a free but still threatened man.
The jury reached the correct verdict. Self-defense is not illegal. And I believe they came to the correct verdict, and I'm glad that everything went well. And it's been a rough journey, but we made it through it. We made it through the hard part.
He, his loved ones, supporters, and lawyers have made it past the biggest and most predatory threats, but others remain. And more broadly, they will persist for all Americans who believe in the right to self-defense. Rittenhouse likely will be attacked via numerous vectors through civil suits that will require him, his family, and legal team to expend thousands of hours and millions of dollars in defense. As a Norfolk, Virginia police officer already has experienced, some politically connected forces don't like seeing people donating to help Rittenhouse handle those kinds of financial burdens. In the case of a 19-year veteran officer, Lieutenant William Kelly in Norfolk, he's asking for his job back after he anonymously donated to Kyle's defense fund. Hackers got the information, The Guardian UK published it, and the Norfolk police force fired him, despite, by the way, the chief employing tax funds to attend a Black Lives Matter protest while on the job last May. And another threat to Rittenhouse's well-being and to our rights comes in the always present, growing collectivist political and media antipathy towards the right to armed self-defense. The most virulent new strain of this illogical and immoral hatred comes in 2 forms. First, people like New York Congressman Jerry Nadler, the Democrat who wants slippery Biden Attorney General Merrick Garland to pursue clearly inappropriate and inapplicable federal charges against Rittenhouse. And second, the sophistic, illogical, aggressive philosophy exhibited by the Washington Post, which just published a dark, unhinged piece of agitprop titled, get this, "After Rittenhouse, will deadly clashes multiply as the right to self-defense expands?" This revolting header is reprehensible in many ways, beginning with the sly tactic of removing the word trial and making the name Rittenhouse a one-word emblem, similar in brevity to the expression 9/11. This dehumanizing linguistic sleight of hand provides a sense of ironclad offense, turning the man's name into a term, a blemish, or confirmed wrong against some imagined American paradigm that every mild-mannered collectivist backer of glorious communitarian state power really ought to recognize is really a problem. And worse, this headline dismisses the violence inflicted on innocent people and their homes and businesses in Kenosha and many other cities thanks to rioters, many ideologically tied to Marxist Black Lives Matter and Antifa and coddled by the Washington Post, by its televisual allies at CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, and NBC, and the Washington Post's leftist friends in government. There can be no doubt that the vast majority of politically connected violence and property damage visited upon American cities for years has been committed by those rioting not for so-called right-wing causes, but those rioting for causes promoted by collectivists. But the most dangerous and insulting facet of this Washington Post headline comes in its assumption that the right to self-defense is the cause of deadly violence, and that somehow this fundamental right can be expanded. So let's dispense with the illogic and ignorance exhibited by that latter insinuation right away. If something is a right, it's universal and therefore can't be expanded because it already covers everyone and every situation of defense. The Washington Post actually implies here that the right to self-defense is not a right, even though they use the very term. What the Washington Post does in the headline is lay a baseline that self-defense is not a right, but something that is, or in the case of collectivists like the Washington Post and mass murdering political despots throughout history, is not allowed by the state. This shouldn't sit well with anyone who knows the history of genocide, or anyone who has even the faintest concept of peace and respect for one's neighbor. And let's dispel with the childish idea that the right to self-defense leads to aggressive violence, the other part of the Washington Post's insinuation. Such a view is just ridiculous. It's manifestly absurd and recognized as such even by a kid who can see the difference between the words defense and aggression. Self-defense is always defense, not aggressive. Oh, great editors of the Washington Post, do you get it? Perhaps they need journalist James Bovard to set them straight, because he noticed just this kind of narrative flipping that seems to be done to promote the forced disarmament of Americans. And he wrote on November 21st on Twitter, quote, "After Rittenhouse verdict, time to outlaw self-defense? Front page at Washington Post today quotes lawyer, quote, the problem here is the acceptance in society of the ability to have weapons and use them to defend yourself, end quote." That says it very succinctly. This is what Kyle Rittenhouse and the rest of those who acknowledge natural rights as apart from, a priori to, and superior to the polis face. We face the mindset of the tyrant, the illegitimate claim to control others as expressed by the Washington Post. The next phases of the fight will come soon, and they will require education and the indomitable spirit of free will. So thank you for backing it. Thank you for supporting MRCTV.org. Of course, please go to MRCTV.org anytime to find out what the entire crew is doing. Find us all over social media, and I'll see you in the comments at YouTube and at Rumble, where, remember, please sign up there. They don't censor us. Please like and subscribe, and please share the videos. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.